This week on America's Great Loop, we depart Green Turtle Bay, intent on putting down some miles to get to the confluence of the Tennessee River and the TomTom waterway. Over the next few days, we make our way down the 156 miles of Kentucky Lake, which was created in 1944 with the building of the Kentucky Dam, and is the largest artificial lake in the eastern United States. Hundreds of families were relocated during the creation of the lake, and entire towns, farms, and homesteads were submerged. You can even see evidence of these submerged roads and bridges on your nautical charts. It's a scenic cruise, and being as it's mid-October, there's not much traffic beyond the occasional fishing or towboats. There's also no lack of nice spots to anchor out. Let's go. Well, we got a few gremlins on the boat. It's one of those things where you've got more things going wrong all at the same time that are seemingly unconnected. It just happens. So the first thing that we had was when we were doing the oil change and trying to change the sensor off the fuel filter. The sensor would just spin, never actually came out. Our next door neighbor at the dock was very kind to try to problem solve it with me, and neither of us could figure it out. The marina didn't have the part I needed, so we just put the old filter back on, and luckily it didn't leak. The second thing was when we got back from Patty's after having our pork chops the other day. But we got back to the boat, and the macerator in the toilet was just running. Just going. Had to turn off the circuit breaker to get it to stop. And then a little while later, turned it back on, and it was fixed. It has done it once again since that time, but now that we've got a system to turn it off and reset it, it's working for now, but it's one of those things I think is just gonna get worse and not better. And then the third strange thing was last night as Morgan was making dinner in the microwave, it just stopped working, no power to it. The switch light was on, so power was being sent out, but microwave just stopped. So I opened up the back, tested the outlet, and that wasn't working at all. So I just unplugged the microwave, switched it over to one of our inverter-powered AC outlets, and it worked just fine. So they say things happen in threes. That's three things. Hopefully it's smooth sailing for a while from here on out. I'm happy to say that the macerator issue never returned, and we ordered a couple spare fuel water sensors to be delivered downstream. With the days getting shorter and a lot of miles to cover, we're getting some pretty early starts, which means we have to make breakfast on the go.
Like strong muscles.
Strong muscles. Wow.
Ooh. Good job. Thank you.
All the way around. There we go.
Ooh. Ew. Ew. I like muffins.
Yeah.
Yum, 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 yum. Yeah.
As you make your way down Kentucky Lake, you'll come across a bridge that stops right in the middle. The Danville Railroad Bridge was once an important line connecting Louisville to Memphis, but was deactivated and dismantled in 1980. Just south of it, you'll find the only remaining structure from before the lake was a lake. The freight elevator was built in 1914 and still stands to this day. It's not clear why the Tennessee Valley Authority didn't tear it down before flooding the lake, but the 5-story structure is still the tallest building in the county. If the Google reviews are anything to go by, it's become a pretty good catfishing hole. We just came across something we'd never seen before. There's a bunch of sideless sheds or like hangars that people had put up in a row. Basically a big campground full of these big sheds or hangars for you to pull your RV into and all your toys and your pontoon boat or whatever you have. And it's right there on the water for you to enjoy, all the traffic going by the lake and stuff like that. But it looks like it's just individual plots that you just go and you buy and you build your shed and then that's what you do. That's what you do. So that was a new thing to us. We've never seen anything quite like that before. And it goes on a long way for miles. It takes us 3.5 days to make the run from Green Turtle Bay on the north side of Kentucky Lake to the mouth of Yellow Creek, where most loopers will turn to make their way down the Tennessee-Tombigbee Waterway. That's not our plan quite yet, but we do need to make a stop for fuel and spend the night in Grand Harbor Resort and Marina. We're pretty surprised to find it completely empty of transient boaters, but luckily that means we don't have to fight anyone for the loaner car. So it's into town we go to stock up our provisions. Today we begin our side trip up to Chattanooga. It's a little bit strange because everybody else we've been traveling alongside has gone the other way. They are continuing southbound, and we are kind of doing this, well, it's going to be about 2 to 3 week long trip in the opposite direction. But the fall colors are already starting to come in. I think it's going to be really pretty when we make our way back down again, which is going to be about early November, right about the time that the AGLCA rendezvous is going on. So it's probably going to be busy up here, and if we're lucky, we'll be able to get a little bit of a head start while everybody else is at the rendezvous. One of the fun things we're going to do today is go up the Wilson Lock, which, if I believe right, is the largest lock you can do on the loop. So that's going to be a new adventure and should be a lot of fun. Wilson Lock is indeed the highest single-chamber lock east of the Rockies. It was the largest in the world when it was built in 1959. It's just pure luck that we happened to get it all to ourselves for today's transit. There have been many times on this trip already where we have wished that we had the rights to the Jurassic Park theme because, I mean, look at the size of these gates. They're huge. Man, this lock is nuts. Morgan seems to think that some Game of Thrones music would be more apt for this setting, but I don't know. I'm the wall, she says, but I'm getting more of a never-ending story vibe. Holy cow! You're doing great.
There's no flying carp this one.
I haven't seen any carp this time. Well, that was cool. That was a 93-foot lift according to the lock keeper, and everything went well. And we didn't have to wait. Apparently sometimes that lock can get pretty backed up and it can take a long time to get a chance to go through. Some folks will even start in the wee hours of the morning to get the first ride up before the commercial traffic comes down. So that was pretty special that we didn't have to compete at all and we were the only people taking a ride. So that was neat. Can't wait to go back down again. It's a short 12 nautical mile cruise across Wilson Lake to Wheeler Lock and Dam, which is impressive in its own right, but doesn't quite have the grandeur of the previous lock with only a 52-foot lift. On the other side of the lock is Joe Wheeler State Park, which, in just a few weeks, will be home to the America's Great Loop Cruisers Association Rendezvous, where people from all over the country will descend on this spot to talk about the Great Loop. The rendezvous is open to all levels of experience. It's a chance for future planners to get inspired, for current loopers to learn more about the next segment coming up, and where veteran loopers can share their knowledge with all the eager minds looking to squeeze the most out of this adventure. You would never know that this place was about to be the center of the looper universe, though, as there's hardly a soul around when we go to shore.
There's mountains.
The next day we continue our way up the Tennessee River, with the terrain getting prettier with each passing mile. We stop for the night at Ditto Landing, just south of Huntsville, where the dockage rates are very reasonable.
You get humble.
Yeah, I do. Am I doing a good job?
Yeah.
Thanks. One of our neighbors happens to be the Perch, a very recognizable looper boat. Unfortunately, nobody appears to be home, so we don't get the opportunity to meet the director of the AGLCA this time around.
Robbie was the youngest and smallest in his family. Everyone was bigger than him.
With misty mornings and fall colors peeking out from the green, the Tennessee Valley seems to be showing off for us, and we can't help but take it all in. With rolling hills giving way to sheer cliff faces, Morgan takes the helm so I can get a view from the sky. Well, unplanned adventure. I was just doing one last shot before we landed the drone and forgot to look at my surroundings and hit a tree. So I'm going ashore real quick, see if we can find it. Hopefully it's not up in the tree. We'll see. You know, that's the risk we take to get the cool shot. So, wah wah. Anyway, let's go take a look around. So I just threw the anchor down real quick and I got the dinghy set up and run over here. I got the remote with me, which says we're actually pretty close already. So it looks like we just got to climb up these rocks. Morgan's worried about there being snakes. She might not be wrong. But we'll climb up slowly and see what we can find. Let's do the Find My Drone. I hear it. Still beeping. Well, one of Morgan's favorite sayings that she taught me, it's not an adventure until it happens. Well, when you're with me flying drones, it's probably going to happen at some point. Well, I hear the beeping getting closer and it's on the ground. Ho ho ho! We're in luck. Here's a propeller. Not reusable. My fancy thing is still on the gimbal. It's not broken. Well, I think if we just replace the propellers, it might be still airworthy. We'll have to get a closer look when I get back.
Dad! Hi, Dada.
Just got it back.
Recovered.
Yeah, we got it. With our recovery mission successful, we resume our scheduled program and continue on toward Chattanooga. Upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that my trusty drone is no longer usable. But not to worry, thank goodness I splurged for the insurance. At the end of Wheeler Lake is Guntersville Lock and Dam, and we luck out once again with no traffic and a quick lift up to the next segment of the river. Just a few miles from the lock, you'll find the Guntersville City Harbor, which sports some of the nicest docks we've seen in quite some time. There are a variety of restaurants and watering holes, and we take advantage of this opportunity to stretch our legs and make our way to the nearby brewery for lunch. It's tempting to spend the night and explore more of the area, but we've got a lot of miles to go if we hope to make it to our destination by tomorrow. So we continue on until sunset, finally dropping the anchor in Jones Cove. We rise to another beautiful morning and get an early start to the day. The Ranger Tug's relatively shallow 2.5-foot draft lets us go where a lot of other cruising boats can't, which means we sometimes get the best anchorages to ourselves. Jones Cove is no exception, and we slowly squeak our way back out to the river. We're on the home stretch today as we push against the current for the final 65 miles towards our destination.
Where are we going? Chattanooga.
That's Chattanooga.
Somehow, seemingly impossibly, the view continues to get better the further we get up the Tennessee River. It's scenery like this that could really make a person wish they'd brought a spare drone along, just in case. Well, if you know me at all, this won't be a surprise. We hope you'll join us on the next one, where we fall in love with Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we think you will too.